me interpreting a pair of trades last night is that the market is set pretty high for defensemen this deadline.
There's no question about that. I think, Tim, when Manson was traded for a second rounder and a decent prospect, I think there were some people saying, okay, good, like maybe this won't be too crazy. But then, the Chiarot one came in, and some of the teams were like, uh-oh, like this is a big price. And usually what it comes down to is, how much interest is there in a player? And there was a lot of interest in Ben Chiarot, and there were several teams in on them, and that allowed Montreal to drive up the bidding to the point where they got what they wanted. And that's basically, I think, why we are where we are with Chiarot, and we'll see. I think this is going to make it more challenging for a team like Toronto. Kyle Dubas has made it very clear that after years of trading away his high draft picks, and he doesn't want to trade a first rounder. He doesn't want to trade a top prospect for a rental at least, and the same for a first rounder. I think it's going to make it harder for him to get a player like Lindholm. But that's what we do. We see what the market is, and we compare, and it looked like a big market, obviously, out of there. I think Giordano is still on their radar. Klingberg might not be available, Jim Nils said yesterday. And, Middleton, I definitely think is on their radar. We'll see what the price will end up being. As for Chara, that's just more of like my man crush commentary, I would say, as opposed to anything else. It was me just kind of looking at things and saying, that if you look at Toronto, they like to bring in people who have great reputations, and they are looking for someone who plays hard. And Justin Bourne and I were talking about it, and Justin said, look, if you want to bring in somebody who crushes people in front of the net, there's nobody who's crushed more people than Zdeno Chara.
Listen, I don't know if it's great minds think alike or fools seldom differ, Elliot, but I said the exact same thing. Like, I am big on, if the Leafs don't want to pay a heavy price and want to bring in a heavy guy, like, Chara fits.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll see. He has to agree to it, right? He's got the control here. Like I said, it's me kind of talking out of my rear, I guess. And I've always loved Chara. I love the way he plays. I love the way he carries himself. Nobody's more disciplined than him. Nobody's more determined than him. Nobody takes care of themselves better than him. And
sounds like someone the Leafs could use. I know you got a man crush on him. I listened to 32 Thoughts. Like, I've heard you bring it up a couple of times. Has anyone reached out, by the way? I know you brought it up a couple of podcasts ago about how much of a man crush you have or respect you have for Zdeno Chara. Did anyone bring it up to him yet?
Not as far as I know. You think he listens to that garbage? I doubt it.
All right, so I think a lot of teams are trying to muscle up here.
Yep.
And we had it as is there a trade going on? I know you're looking down on your phone.
Just making sure. I had a couple of times.
You make sure. If you need me to dance, I will dance for you. Lindholm and Giordano, though, seem like they would be guys that not just Toronto would be looking at.
No, Lindholm is a guy that quite a few teams have been interested in. There was a rumor going around that maybe Florida went for Chiarot because they heard that Lindholm was potentially re-signing in Anaheim, but I've been told that's not accurate. I think Bill Zito really liked Ben Chiarot. I think that there's still a few teams in on Lindholm. Like again, I think he's the guy that Toronto's kind of always liked, but I just don't know if they're going to pay the price that Anaheim is going to command for this. I think Boston's around there. I think potentially Carolina's around there. I think LA's around there. I don't know if Anaheim's going to want to do that. St. Louis, although Doug Armstrong tends to not like rentals. There's the Rangers. There's a bunch of teams out there looking for left-hand D. And Giordano, the Maple Leafs are definitely in on Giordano. But again, if Seattle's going to say, look, Chiarot went for a first-rounder, I'm not convinced Toronto's ready to pay that price yet.
I think Leafs need defense. Others have suggested it's a goalie, and I understand why, but the same could be said for Edmonton, yet crickets. Some of that has to do with guys not wanting to go to Edmonton, but has the goaltending market dried up for each?
I think that Edmonton has less options than some other people do. I don't think Fleury was ever a reasonable possibility there, for example. And, the other thing, too, is Ken Holland's made it very clear he'll trade his first-round pick or his best prospects if he thinks he can win a Stanley Cup. Right now, I don't think he looks at that pick and says, we're guaranteed to be there. So he's just not interested in doing that. He did scour the market in January for goaltending. We've talked about how he offered Martin a late-round pick for Martin Jones, and Philly said no, and Columbus wanted a 2 and a 3 for Korpisalo, and Ken Holland said no. I think it's more likely than not he stands still. He has been looking for depth defensemen, and Jeff Merrick mentioned last night that Dean Kukan from Columbus was a player that was, I think, offered to them, and the Oilers decided not to do it. I mean, he could always surprise me, but I'm not expecting this to be a big deadline out of Edmonton.
I heard you talking about
words.
Sorry, I heard you talking about Winnipeg and Vancouver, and another executive talking about the losses of the pandemic season, and it makes a ton of sense, and what a couple of playoff dates could do. Is that going to influence what Shovel Dayoff and Rutherford all lean do?
I think it could. I think it might influence Vancouver. They've got a huge game tonight. Dan talked about it. They have to win this game tonight, and I do think there's a lot of talk out of Vancouver about, do we want to just go for this and see where we go? And I think that changes from time to time. I think occasionally they get some calls on some of their guys and they think about it. Like there were some rumblings about, Garland today. We'll see. But I think generally the Canucks, they're happy to be in this race. And I think the same thing goes for the Jets. Like, the math is not with either of these teams. If you take a look at the teams on that board, the math is really with Dallas, but you got to win the games.
Right.
The math is not with Vancouver and Winnipeg, but you want to give your players a chance to try it, right? And I just think if, like this executive was saying to me, and thinking more about the conversation, I think that both those organizations have thought a lot about that. But the one thing with Copp is I think there's a ton of interest in Copp. And I just wonder if Winnipeg's going to get to the point where they say, for what we could get for him, do we have to do it?
Right.
And, we'll see where the weekend takes us.